Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Itadalai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. My Dandavat pranams at the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev Nityānanda Pravishno Vishnupad Paramahamsa Statarasata Sri Śrīla A.C. Bhaktivedānta Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada, and to the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurus Nityānanda Pravishno Vishnupad Paramahamsa Statarasata Sri Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Maharaj, and Nityānanda Pravishno Vishnupad Paramahamsa Statarasata Sri Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Maharaj. My Dandavat pranams to all of our Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga. Dandavat pranams to all the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavas. So there are so many different pastimes that can be read. Are you all listening through are they listening through the, whatchamacallit, transmitter? Okay. Talk a little bit softer. Just a little bit softer. So, but there is one chapter in a book of Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Maharaj, which is one of my favorites. And it's in his book called Golden Volcano of Divine Love. That Golden Volcano of Divine Love book is all about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the golden volcano. What does a volcano do? It explodes. And what comes out? Lava. So Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj has actually used this analogy that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like the golden volcano, because he's golden color. And what is coming from him? Like lava? Krishna Prem, divine love. So in this book, these are simply taken from a number of his darshans where he is talking about Mahaprabhu and his whole vision of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityānanda Prabhu, and the Sankirtan movement, and the histories that are there in Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj, in a very wonderful way, as he always does, sentence by sentence, he draws us deeper down into a particular essential subject matter. And he churns that subject matter. This time, this subject matter is in the chapter which is called Friend of the Fallen. And who would that be? Friend of the Fallen. We say that every day. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhed patitanam pavanebhyo. We always say like this. Patita pavana. But who is really the greatest friend of the fallen souls? Nityānanda. He's even more merciful than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hard to imagine, but it's a fact. And Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj is going to explain about how this is a fact. So in the beginning of this chapter, he's talking about the difference between mercy and justice. So justice, what is justice? It means there's a law, and the duty of that law and the duty of justice is to qualify someone. Are you following the law? Are you not following the law? So justice always seeks qualifications, but mercy, it has no such limits. And divine mercy does not care for any qualifications, but it is always ready. Mercy is always ready to compensate the weak and the unfit. Understand? Yeah. It compensates. Oh, you're weak? Okay, we'll make a special arrangement. You see? That's the nature of mercy. Only one thing is required from us who want to receive this mercy. One thing is required. What is that? Take a guess. Our sincere eagerness to receive mercy. That's all. How eager are we to receive mercy? That's all the qualification. So Śrīdhara Maharaj is quoting the shloka from Ramananda Samvad about Krishna Bhakti Rasa. Bhavitamati Kriyatam Abhikuto Bilabhyate Tatra Lolyam Abhimulyam Ekalam Janmakoti Sukritayana Labhyate. This verse is telling us that Krishna Bhakti Rasa, here it's called pure devotional service to Krishna, but that means Krishna Bhakti Rasa. This cannot be obtained. How can you get it? How can you get this Krishna Bhakti Rasa, this pure devotion? It cannot be obtained by performing what? Punya, pious activities, even for millions of lives. No, it cannot. That is not the necessary currency to obtain this Krishna Bhakti Rasa. Therefore, it can only be purchased. If you want Krishna Bhakti Rasa, it can only be purchased by paying one price. And what is that one price? Intense eagerness. Wherever it is available, one must purchase it immediately. No qualification from one's previous life will help one to attain Krishna consciousness. Only eagerness and faith, they are important. So Śrīla Maharaj is talking about this, getting this Krishna Bhakti Rasa, getting this ecstasy and so forth. So here, he's saying, what is the effect of Krishna consciousness? What is the effect of Krishna consciousness? He quotes the verse. First canto, second chapter, Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Vidyate Hridaya Grantish, Chidyante Sarva Samshaya, Kshiyante Chasya Karmani, Mahi Krishna Akilatmani. Here he's talking about our inner aspiration for rasa, for ecstasy. That it's buried in the heart. All of us. It's buried in our heart. This inner aspiration for rasa, for ecstasy. But the heart, what's the problem? The heart is tied down and sealed. So we want this inner ecstasy, rasa, but our heart is tied. Even though it's there, the desire for that in our heart, but our heart is tied down and sealed. But hearing and chanting the glories of Krishna, what does it do? It breaks the seal of the heart. Vidyate hridaya grantis. Yes, what is chanting, hearing, chanting, glories of Krishna. And then the heart awakens. and becomes open to receive Krishna, who is the reservoir of all pleasure. He is what? Rasa Vaisaha. He is ecstasy himself. Akil Rasamrita Murti. So our heart's concern is with ecstasy, charm, and sweetness. And this is felt by the heart, not by the brain. So the heart has been given the most importance. The next effect is felt in the plane of knowledge. So after getting a taste of divine sweetness, then all doubts and suspicions vanish. Rasavarjan rasokyasya paradrishva. By getting a small taste, then all suspicion vanishes. And when we have a taste of real ecstasy, rasa, all our doubts are cleared. By getting a taste of Krishna consciousness, the heart is captured, and when the heart is captured, the ecstasy of love of Godhead, Krishna Prem, begins to flow. And being satisfied, then, the heart will say, this is what I was searching for. And then the brain, it will follow, thinking, yes, yes, there can be no doubt. This is the highest goal of our search. Yes. It is, Srila Śrīdhara Mahārāja's wording and his style of presentation is very exacting. One thought next to the next, to the next, to the next. Extremely exacting and logical. So he says that yes, the brain will follow when the heart gets this taste. And will say, yes, yes, there can be no doubt. This is the highest goal of our search. Dissolve everything else. The heart will say, I have attained prem, divine love. This is the highest thing. Stop all works from now on. This is the heart will say this. Stop all other works from now on. And then karma will close all of its workshops. No more karma. Vidyate hridayantas chidyante sarva samshaya kshiyante chasya karmani. Karma will close all of its workshops. Done. Finished forever. Yes. So after coming in contact, in touch with Krishna consciousness, the first result is that the heart awakens. And when the heart is captured, the brain approves, and our karma, which is energizing in the wrong direction, it stops. Krishna consciousness is the real wealth of the heart. It is the nature of divine mercy. Now talking about mercy again. Coming back to this point. It is the nature of divine mercy to extend itself without caring for any law. The only consideration is our eagerness to accept it. So mercy is offered in this way. In this way, mercy is offered. How? Do you want this? If we simply agree, yes, it is wonderful, it is tasteful. If you just simply agree, that's all. It is being offered. Do you want this? Yes, it is wonderful, it is most tasteful. If we simply agree, then we can have it. That's all. Deal is done. So if our prayer is genuine, then nothing else is required. It is a simple transaction. If we want it, we will get it. Krishna consciousness is most simple. Whether one is fit or unfit is unimportant. Anyone who simply wants it may have it. You like that?
Yeah.
But then, and what of those who don't want this divine gift? What of those who don't want this divine gift? Because for them, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed special mercy. How? Through his most magnanimous canvassing agent, Sri Nityānanda Prabhu, for those who don't want this gift. Nityānanda Prabhu won't allow even those who want to avoid Krishna consciousness, he won't allow them to escape. If someone says, I don't want it, and Nityānanda Prabhu won't allow it, he will say, no, you must want it. I request you earnestly, take it, use it, and you will be able to feel the value of Krishna consciousness. To capture the market, a clever merchant, what does he do? He may distribute free samples of his product to his customers. Say, here, take one for free. There is no question of paying any price now. I am giving this away. Use it. And if you feel the value, the utility of my product, then buy it. And then afterwards, everyone will purchase. So, in a similar way, Nityānanda Prabhu traveled throughout Bengal, making his humble appeal. Nityānanda Prabhu would knock at the door, and he would fall at the feet of his customers, crying, tears. Please accept this. Don't dismiss me. Don't drive me away. Please do what I say. Give all your attention to Gauranga, and you will be benefited beyond expectation. This is my request to you. He would shed tears, roll at their door, and he would say, you are reluctant to accept this, but have no doubts. I implore you, take it. Believe me. Please accept Gauranga. In this way, Nityānanda Prabhu used to wander down both sides of the Ganga, roaming here and there and preaching about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nityānanda Prabhu, he knows only Gauranga. That's all. He doesn't know anything else. Nityānanda, he knows only Gauranga. And he is represented at Krishna Lila as who? Baladev. In Krishna Lila, he's Baladev. And Baladev, you know, in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, apparently Baladev performed the Ras Lila. But at heart, he was only arranging Ras Lila for Krishna. That was his internal mood. His nature shows the experts of devotion that he is always dedicated to Krishna. Now, otherwise, he would not be Baladev. If he was not dedicated to Krishna, he would not be Baladev. He has no individual thoughts for his own enjoyment. None. Every atom of his body is always eager to make arrangements for the enjoyment of Krishna. So in a similar way, every atom of the body of Nityānanda Prabhu is conscious transcendental substance. And every atom of his body is meant only for the service and satisfaction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, One day, Mahaprabhu's mother, Sachi Devi, she had a dream. She dreamt that Krishna and Balaram, they were sitting on a throne. Who was sitting on a throne? Krishna and Balaram. And Nityānanda Prabhu was addressing Baladev. Come down from your throne. Your days are over. Now my Lord Gauranga will be installed. And Baladev refused. No, I have my Lord Krishna. And then there was a fight. But Nityānanda Prabhu was stronger. And he took Baladev down from the throne, saying, your day has gone. Now the time for my master, Gauranga, has come. You are a trespasser. You are a usurper. You must come down. And Baladev could not defeat Nityānanda, who took him down from the throne. This is the nature of Nityānanda Prabhu's relationship with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has nothing of his own, nothing. His everything is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everything. So as Baladev is to Krishna, Nityānanda Prabhu is to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The aim of Sriman Mahaprabhu's descent was to distribute the devotional service of Vrindavan most generously. What did Mahaprabhu descend for? What was the aim of his coming down? To distribute what? The devotional service of Vrindavan most generously. Because the devotional service of Vrindavan, that means Braja Prem, and all the Braj residents, they have the most intensive high-level prem that anyone possesses anywhere in the whole creation. So, Mahaprabhu is Krishna, and Baladev is Nityānanda. Nityānanda and Gauranga Mahaprabhu are the same exact personalities, but in Krishna Lila, this Braja Prem was not distributed freely. But now Mahaprabhu has descended with Nityānanda, and the aim of his descent is to distribute the devotional service of Vrindavan most generously. That is the thing about Gaur Lila. Now, on the other hand, Nityānanda Prabhu, he used to sing this song. You know this song that Nityānanda used to sing. Bhaja Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga, Loha Gauranger Namre, Ye Jana Gauranga Bhaje Se Amar Pranre. What is Nityānanda doing? This is how he's singing this song. As he preaches, he says, Bhaja Gauranga. All of you worship Gauranga. Kaha Gauranga. Speak about Gauranga. Kaha Gauranga Nam Re. Loha Gauranga Nam Re. That means always chant Gauranga's name. Jai Jana Gauranga Bhaje Se Amar Pran Re. Anyone who ever worships Sri Gauranga, anyone who does that, he is my what? My pran. Nityānanda is telling us, you worship my Gauranga, you become my pran. You become my life and soul. So Nityānanda Prabhu tried his best to make all the people at large accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What did he say? He said, come straight to the campaign of Sri Chaitanya and you will safely attain Vrindavan. You want to attain Vrindavan? This is how to do it. Come to this movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and very safely you will attain Vrindavan. So of course, Navadvīpa, the abode of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is no less valuable than Vrindavan, the abode of Krishna. The same rasa which is found in Vrindavan, it is present in another feature in Navadvīpa. Yes, same ras, Vraj ras, but it's present in another feature in Navadvīpa. Some devotees, they have a special attraction for Vrindavan Leela. Others have a special attraction for Navadvīpa Leela, and the third group represents both camps. But Navadvīpa is the most generous. In Vrindavan, the pastimes of Krishna are confined to a confidential circle. But in Navadvīpa, those pastimes are distributed. Gaur Leela is more generous than Krishna. More generous. That's why this dham is called the what? The Audarya dham. Place of generosity. So now he's quoting Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī from Chaitanya Charitamrita, where he explains, Krishnadas Kaviraj is explaining his conception of the difference between Gaur Leela and Krishna Leela. Here's the verse. Krishna Leela Amrita Sar, Tar Shata Shata Tar, Dasha Dike Vahe Jaha Hoite, Se Chaitanya Leela Hoy, Sarovara Akshay, Manohangsa Charaha Tahate. Very famous verse from Madhya Leela. So he says, yes, there is no doubt that we find the highest nectarine taste of rasa in Krishna Leela. But what is Gaur Leela? In Gaur Leela, the nectar of Krishna Leela is not confined to a limited circle, but it is being distributed in all directions, on all sides. It is just as if from all 10 sides of the nectarine lake of Krishna Leela, hundreds of streams are flowing. That's the difference. Understand? That's the difference between Gaur Leela and Krishna Leela. Now,
could you repeat that? Maybe explain it a bit more.
You can make any comment if you like.
No, I didn't get it.
Okay. So this verse is saying Krishna Leela Amrita Sar. That means that Krishna Leela is the essence of all nectar. Amrita Sar. Tar Shata Shata Dhar, Dasha Dike Vahe Jaha Hoite. So, here, Srila Śrīla Maharaj is paraphrasing this. He's saying there is no doubt that we find the highest nectarine taste of rasa in Krishna Leela. Krishna Leela Amrita Sar. But in comparison with Krishna Leela, what is Gaur Leela? Se Chaitanya Leela Hoy Sarovara Akshay Manohangsa Charaha Tahate. He's not telling the literal translation, because this is talking about how the mind can be like a swan on this lake, Sarovara Akshay of Chaitanya Leela. He's summarizing and he's saying, Gaur Leela in comparison with Krishna Leela. So Gaur Leela, the nectar of Krishna Leela is not confined to a limited circle. In other words, in Krishna Leela, it's confined. Is it? How is it confined? To a limited circle in Krishna Leela.
It's not available to everyone.
Huh?
It's not available to everyone.
Yeah, it's not available to everyone. To very few, actually, who have very, very high qualifications, just like we hear that in the, in the pastimes of Krishna, different gopis took birth from previous lives, and also different categories and different groups, and they appeared in Krishna Leela. Each and every group of those gopis were highly qualified from previous lives. But do we hear about that in Chaitanya Leela? Never. No? So here's the thing. In Gaur Leela, the nectar of Krishna Leela is not confined to a limited circle, but it is being distributed on all sides, because this is saying Dasha Dike Vahe Jaha Vaite. Dasha Dike means all 10 directions. So that nectar of Krishna Leela, Amrita Sar, it is like being distributed in all 10 directions by what? Tar Shata Shata Dar. That means by hundreds and hundreds of different streams. So this is the main thing. Yes. So our highest aspiration, now he goes directly to the point. What is this Amrita Sar of Krishna Lila? Our highest aspiration is to achieve the service of Śrīmati Radharani. There it is. But in the beginning, we must approach Sri Nityānanda Prabhu through his manifest representation, the Guru. Nityānanda Prabhu consolidates the foundation, which helps us progress further in devotion. Quick progress without a good foundation, it invites a negative reaction. So the mercy of Nityānanda Prabhu is our primary necessity. This approach culminates in the service of Śrīmati Radharani. Nityayer Karuna Habe, Braje Radha Krishna Habe. So this approach, he's saying that to approach Nityānanda Prabhu in the beginning, it is required to approach his manifest representation of Sri Guru. And then Nityānanda, who is the Akhanda Guru Tattva, he consolidates this foundation, which helps us to progress further. So if we try to go too quickly, quick progress without a good foundation, it invites a negative reaction. So the mercy of Nityānanda Prabhu is our primary necessity. And this approach, it culminates. What is the final culmination? Service of Śrīmati Radharani. That's why Narottam Das Thakur has prayed. Nityayer Karuna Habe, Braje Radha Krishna Pabe. If one attains the Karuna of Nitai, the service, the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, then you attain Radha and Krishna in Braja. That's the connection. So, to be reinstated as a servant of the servant to the extreme degree, this is the philosophy of Gauḍīya Vaishnavism. To attain that reinstatement as servant of servant of servant of servant. And to the supreme degree, this is the philosophy of Gauḍīya Vaishnavism. Our goal is not to become one with Krishna, to receive service. We want to render service. So he's talking about how the absolute truth, Krishna, has two sides, predominator and predominated. Predominator is Krishna. So this is called moiety in English language. Predominated moiety of the absolute truth is a negative potency. There's positive and negative. He's using these terms. So that negative potency, the predominated moiety of the absolute truth, which is the energy that serves. This is the serving energy. And then the predominating moiety receives that service. So Radha and Krishna are this. The predominator and the predominated. They're two aspects of the one supreme reality, the supreme truth. One is the servant, the other is the receiver of the service. Of course, we know in the philosophy of Rasa Tattva that Shri Krishna, he derives the greatest pleasure by serving Śrīmati Radhika. No higher pleasure is Krishna can attain than this. But from the angle of Shakti, Shakti Mator Abeda, that there's Abed, there's no difference between the energy and the energetic. But at the same time, in Rasa Tattva, there's so much difference. Now, our best interest will be reached when, according to our constitutional nature, we attain our position in the line of servitors, in the negative, predominated moiety. Not by considering ourselves one with the positive, predominating moiety. So, this is all that paragraph is telling the tattva here. So, by the grace of Nityānanda Prabhu, we develop our attraction for Sri Gauranga. Yes, by his grace. If we receive the grace of Sri Gauranga, then we receive everything in the highest degree. And that is the safest way to approach Radha Govinda. If we try to achieve Radha Govinda in some other way, our attempt will be naturally, it will be artificial, and it will be defective. If we approach Radha Govinda directly, avoiding Sri Gauranga, there will be great difficulty. So, therefore, we should invest all our energy in the service of Sri Gauranga. Then we shall automatically find ourselves lifted. We are being lifted towards the highest level. If we do what? If we invest all our energy in the service of Sri Gauranga, we automatically find ourselves being lifted towards the highest level. So Prabodhananda Saraswati, he is one favorite shloka of Śrīla Śrīdhara Maharaj. He's saying exactly this point. Yata yata gaura padara vinde, vindeta bhaktim krita punya rashi, tata tatot sarpati hridya kasmad, radha padam bhoja sudambu rashi. You heard this book before? Yata yata gaura padara vinde. So, that means, as much as we devote ourselves to the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga, we will automatically achieve the nectarine service of Srimati Radharani in Vrindavan. This is exactly what is being stated in this verse. Yata yata gaura padara vinde. As much as we serve, vindeta bhaktim krita punya rashi, as much as we devote ourselves to the service of the lotus feet of Gaura, then what happens? Tata tatot sarpati hridi akasmat. In the heart, automatically, Radha Padamboja Sudambu Rashi becomes this overwhelming nectaring service of Srimati Radharani. This is the formula. This one verse here tells exactly what we need to do in our life. And what will be the result of that? Prabodhananda Saraswati, topmost authority. So, here he's talking about investing. So if you make an investment in Navadvīpa Dham, it will automatically take you to Vrindavan. How one has been carried there will be unknown to him. Oh? I thought I was in Navadvīpa, but I'm in Vrindavan. You know, Gurudev, he used to explain this one line from the song of Narottam Das Thakur, Gaurangera Dutipada. And there it's saying, oh, what is that? Yes, that one. You memorized it correctly, Maharaj. Thank you. So, Gaur Prem Rasarana Ve, Jai Taranga, Se Taranga Jeva Dube. So this means that the Rasa Arnava, the ocean of rasa, of Gaur Prem. Gaur Prem is like an ocean of rasa. But here, Gurudev used the example of the Ganga in Navadvīpa. Because it's saying there, the Taranga Jeva Dube. If you immerse yourself in the waves of Gaur Prem Ras, okay? So, then what happens? Say, Radha Madhava Antaranga. So Gurudev said, if you immerse yourself in the Ganga, in Navadvīpa Dham, and then again you come up from the water and you look, where will you find yourself? At Keśavajī, on the Yamuna River, in Braj. So Śrīla Śrīdhara Maharaj is also saying here that, yes, that an investment in Navadvīpa Dham will automatically take one to Vrindavan, and how one has been carried there will be unknown to him. You won't know how it has happened, but it happened. But those who have good fortune, they invest everything in the service of God. If they do that, they will find that everything has automatically been offered to the divine feet of Śrīmati Radharani. Yeah? Isn't that an incredible formula, what he just said here? Those who have very good fortune, they make their full investment in the service of Gauranga. And if they do that, they will find that everything has automatically been offered to the divine feet of Śrīmati Radharani. And she will accept them in her confidential service. And she will give them engagement, saying, oh, this is what Radharani will say. Radharani will say, oh, you have a good recommendation from Navadvīpa. I immediately appoint you to this service. So we're in the right place, at the right time. So Śrīmati Radharani, she is introduced in the form of Gauranga, with the added element of magnanimity. Gauranga is Radha. Gauranga is, yes, we know he's Krishna, but really, he's Radha. And along with all the moods and everything of Radha is this added element called magnanimity. No selfish sensualism can enter our consideration of the pastimes of Sri Gauranga. For there he appears as a sannyasi and a devotee. So what does that mean? That means that Gauranga Nagaris, they are completely wrong, 100,000% wrong. Because they try to say that Mahaprabhu also has his side as being the enjoyer, like Krishna. But that never happens in the pastimes of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And even though he's Krishna and Gadadhar is Radha, their relationship is completely 100% internal, never outwardly. No external sensualism is ever exhibited in Gaur Lila. But these Gauranga Nagaris try to say that Krishna is a Nagara, like Yasomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara, that he's a lover and he's having dalliances with so many young girls and gopis. Never in Mahaprabhu, in Gauranga Lila. So, of course, if we are to analyze Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we shall find Krishna in the garb of Radharani. That's who Mahaprabhu is. He's Krishna wearing the dress of Radharani. And according to the impersonal philosophers, they say that when impersonal philosophers say that when negative and positive combine, they become oneness, non-differentiated oneness. Negative, positive, one. But Vaishnava philosophy says that when both positive and negative aspects of Godhead are combined, personality is never lost. It is not lost. Personality is there. Rather, in the garb of the negative, the positive is converted Who's the positive? Krishna. And he's in the garb of the negative, Radha. So, in the garb of the negative, the positive is converted and he begins searching for himself in the mood of the highest searcher. So this was the mood of Mahaprabhu every step of the way, especially after he began outwardly manifesting when he returned from Gaya. Always searching, where's Krishna, where's Krishna? And more intensified the entire time. Until his departure from this world. So, according to Vaishnavism, when positive and negative combine, they do not create equilibrium. Rather, their dynamic character is always maintained. It's always maintained. Positive and negative. So the combination of Radha and Govinda, that combination of Radha and Govinda is Sri Gauranga. And by the grace of Nityānanda Prabhu, we may be attracted to Sri Gauranga. By his grace, we may be attracted to Sri Gauranga. Now, what about Nityananda's mercy? What about his mercy? Nityānanda Prabhu's mercy sometimes exceeds the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's even greater. That's hard to imagine, but it's a fact. So because it may create... So Mahaprabhu, he has a very sensitive situation. That because he's Mahaprabhu. So because it may create a bad precedent. So sometimes Mahaprabhu cannot accept certain fallen souls. That is there. He has to consider their status, and he has to also consider other things. Nityananda's mercy, however, it does not care for any unfavorable circumstances at all. His mercy is very lavish. And you know, here he's telling that his mercy is almost blind. Like he can't even see. He's blind. He does not discriminate between different degrees of sinners. There's so many different levels of sinners. He doesn't discriminate. His mercy is all-embracing. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, guess what? He cannot dismiss the recommendation of Nityānanda. He cannot dismiss it. Even those who Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected, Nityānanda Prabhu sheltered. And gradually Mahaprabhu had to accept them. So the grace of Nityānanda is the greatest. His grace is the greatest, both in magnitude and in circumference. You try to measure it, it's unlimited. So, that is our solace. We're looking for solace. We're looking for some way, somehow or other, despite our disqualifications, we have to get this grace, this mercy. So Nityananda's grace is our solace, because by his mercy, even the most fallen souls can attain the Supreme. And one time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told his followers. Now, Śrīdhara is telling a little pastime. Once Mahaprabhu told his followers, even if Nityānanda Prabhu, if he is found with a fallen girl of the lowest kind, drinking wine in a wine shop, still you should know that he is above all these things. Although you may find him apparently engaged in lower activities, he is never implicated. He may appear connected with so many fallen activities, but but you should know that he is always revered by the creator of the universe, Lord Brahma, and all other exalted devotees. That is his position. Always revered by them. Nityānanda Prabhu's mercy is so powerful, and this is Mahaprabhu is telling this to his associates, that if one simply takes a piece of his kopin, his loincloth, just a little piece of that cloth, and he wears it respectfully on his body, he will be saved from all the disturbances of these mundane senses. That's how powerful Nityānanda is. Therefore we pray, may my mind always stick to his holy feet. I offer my obeisances to Sri Nityānanda. Now when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took sannyas, what was one of the main reasons? Because Mahaprabhu took sannyas for the benefit of those souls, all souls who were swallowed by Maya. And then he ran and he chased after the fallen souls to deliver them from illusion by giving them the holy name of Krishna. And Nityānanda Prabhu, like his shadow, he ran after him wherever he went. He fully surrendered and he identified himself with Mahaprabhu's cause. So we must bow down to Nityānanda Prabhu. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was merged in tasting the sweetness of Radha and Govinda Lila. We're talking about how Mahaprabhu was always immersed in this way. And he was diving deep into that reality. However, at the same time, he wanted to deliver all the souls whose hearts had not been devoured by the false notions of renunciation and exploitation. So he ordered Nityānanda Prabhu. This is when Mahaprabhu was in Puri, and he was no longer going to be leaving Puri. So then he ordered Nityānanda Prabhu, because he wanted to deliver all the fallen souls. But now he's diving deep in Radha Govinda Lila, and he's not going to be going out to try to capture them anymore. So then he ordered Nityānanda Prabhu, go to Bengal and try to deliver them. Give them divine love for Radha and Krishna. That's what he ordered to Nityānanda. So he ordered Nityānanda Prabhu to distribute divine love for Radha Govinda, but instead, Nityānanda began to preach about Sri Gauranga. Because Nityānanda thought that it will be better for them to worship Gauranga. And that will help free them from their offenses in their present condition. And by doing so, they will automatically achieve a position in Radha Govinda Lila. So this is why Nityānanda Prabhu began preaching about Gauranga. He was ordered to preach the name of Krishna, but instead he began to preach the name of Gauranga. So for our welfare, we bow down to Nityānanda Prabhu with all of our humility. And we pray to Nityānanda, O Nityānanda Prabhu, O Guru Dev, please give me a drop of firm faith in Sri Gauranga, who is Radha Govinda combined, tasting the sweetness of the divine nectar of the pastimes of Vrindavan. O Nityānanda Prabhu, give me a drop of faith so that one day I may attain divine love and enter into that domain. That's how we should pray. Nityānanda, and Nityānanda is also Guru, Akhanda Guru Tata. So pray to Guru and Nityānanda Prabhu in this way. If we neglect Nityānanda Prabhu and we neglect Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then our aspiration to serve Radha Govinda, it will be simply a dream, an abstract imagination without reality. Nityānanda Prabhu is the refuge of all fallen souls. He is the most generous-hearted aspect of Guru Tattva. We must bow down our head to him. We must accept his holy feet and surrender to him. And then Śrīla Maharaj is talking about, like one paragraph, he's talking about how Nityānanda Prabhu, in the spiritual realm of Vaikuntha, he's represented as Sankarshan. And Sankarshan is the Supreme Lord, who is considered to be the foundation of everything that is in existence. Foundation of everything that exists. All possible existence is maintained by his energy, Sankarshan. Nityānanda Prabhu is the original Baladev, the personality of Godhead. And therefore we should view the pastimes of Nityānanda Prabhu with full consciousness of his dignified position. Although Nityānanda Prabhu used to roam about here and there, rolling in the dust with tears in his eyes, saying, "Take the name of Gauranga, and I will be sold to you." Although he posed in this lower position, still he should be considered in light of his actual dignified position. We must surrender to him with that attitude.
I was running out the door, but then something happened.
So Balaram is represented in different parts of the spiritual world, in different aspects. He came here as Nityānanda Prabhu with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The truth about Nityānanda Prabhu has been exhaustively explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavata. And there, he is described as enjoying his life and relishing his pastimes with his own younger brother. To that Nityānanda we must bow our heads. Who's that younger brother? Nimai. Yes. Sri Krishna Prem, divine love, it is an inconceivable substance which is very pleasing and ecstatic. Great saints who get a taste of that wonderful substance, they throw away all sorts of aspirations, including salvation, which is lavishly praised by the Vedas. So Nityānanda Prabhu, although one with Baladev, he is greater than him. Why? He is distributing divine love. And what is divine love? It is so important and valuable. It is so much higher than all other sorts of achievements that one who can give divine love is far superior to those who can give duty, wealth, pleasure, salvation. If we conceive that Krishna is subordinate to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then of course Balaram is subordinate to Nityānanda Prabhu. In all other respects, the two of them are similar. But when magnanimity is added to Balaram, he becomes Nityānanda Prabhu. Nityānanda Prabhu ki. So first, the position of divine love, it must be established first. The great saints, they discard salvation and all other things after they get a slight scent of divine love. And once the position of divine love is established, then we can understand that a person, one who can give it, he must necessarily be superior to the givers of all other things. So Nityānanda Balaram is superior to Karandakshay Vishnu, the super soul of the collective universes. Nityānanda Balaram is superior to Garbhodakshay Vishnu, the super soul of this universe. He's superior to Hiradakshai Vishnu, the super soul of all living beings. And that Balaram has come here as Nityānanda Prabhu. Not with majesty, with grandeur or power, but he's come in a human form to distribute divine love. And he is the giver of Gauranga. His greatness is proved by this fact. We can understand this by further examining the different aspects of his life, step by step. So Nityānanda Prabhu, he was born in Ekachakra, and there he passed his early life. His parents, his friends, and neighbors, they were filled with ecstatic joy, being pleased with his sweet infant pastimes. From his birth, he was a pleasure to the whole atmosphere of Ekachakra. And in this joyous atmosphere, he passed his childhood years. One day, while Nityānanda was still young, a sannyasi came to his home and begged him from his parents. The sannyasi was roaming about to different holy places, and he prayed for Nityānanda as his alms. He took him in his company, and Nityānanda Prabhu wandered about almost all the holy places following that sannyasi. It is said that the sannyasi was Madhavendra Puri. So we've got a few different, but Śrīla Śrīdhara Maharāja says, and I take his statement as superior to anyone else's, unless Bhaktivedānta Saraswati has said something different. But he's saying, see, no one is directly saying definitely this, but it is said that the sannyasi was Madhavendra Puri. So then one day, from within, feeling ecstasy in his heart, Nityānanda Prabhu could understand that Sri Gauranga had begun his pastimes of Sankirtan in Navadvīpa. And with that inspiration, he came to Navadvīpa. Now that day, Mahaprabhu told his followers, I had a dream that an extraordinarily great man in a chariot marked with the palm tree flag of Balaram came to my door. And he said, where is the house of Nimai Pandit? Twice, thrice, 4 times, again and again, he keeps saying, where is the house of Nimai Pandit? And then Mahaprabhu continued, that great personage must have come last night to Navadvīpa. So try to search him out. They searched, and they searched. They could not find him anywhere. And then Mahaprabhu told them, let me try. He took them straight to the home of Nandanacharya. From Yopit, all the way down to Nandanacharya's. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his followers suddenly arrived there, they found Nityānanda Prabhu sitting on the veranda. And after seeing, this is the first time, and after seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityānanda Prabhu stared intently at him for some time. He became absorbed in him, and he fainted. In this way, in one day, he became the most intimate associate of Srimad Mahaprabhu. So, when he was ordered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give Krishna consciousness to everyone, he began to distribute Gauranga consciousness, divine love of Sri Gauranga. That Nityānanda Prabhu is the savior of all fallen souls, without any discrimination of the degree of their fallenness, so we bow down to his holy feet. Once, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a secret talk with Nityānanda Prabhu in Jagannath Puri. So when Nityānanda Prabhu went to Bengal and he married, some persons say that Mahaprabhu asked him to marry. It is our opinion that because the so-called high-class people were so much surcharged with vanity, Nityānanda Prabhu was asked to approach the masses. And because he was ordered to mix with them very familiarly for his preaching purposes, it was found necessary for him to marry. Otherwise, if he were to have mixed with very familiarly with family men, then accusations may have been leveled at his standard of renunciation. And to further that purpose, he married. He had to adopt that policy, and he had to accept that attitude. And he may have been told to do so by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He may have. It was not his own decision. Of course, marrying or not marrying was nothing to him. And how he came in contact with his eternal consort, Devī, that is described in the Bhakti Ratnakara. It appears that when he was preaching all around Bengal, he preached at the house of Deví's father, Suryadas Pandit, the brother of Gauridas Pandit, who was already a follower of Gaur Nityānanda. We just went there. We went there in our parikrama. Remember? Ambikakalna. That's where Nityānanda Prabhu was married. We went to the very place. So he preached at the house of Deví's father, Suryadas Pandit, the brother of Gauridas Pandit, who was already a follower of Gaur Nityānanda. So Suryadas gave him intimate help in his propaganda work, as his house was a good base. And Suryadas, who had 2 daughters, he offered Nityānanda Prabhu his daughter in marriage. And ultimately, Śrīla Nityānanda Prabhu and Srimati Janavadevī, they are eternally associated. And although their marriage apparently took place out of necessity, it was actually part of their eternal Leela. Now, of course, some so-called sannyasis take advantage of this to give up their vows of celibacy and marry. You understand? In other words, some so-called sannyasis, they may say, oh, but we've heard that Nityānanda Prabhu, he gave up his sannyas, his renunciation to marry. No. Śrīla Maharaj is saying that they give the marriage of Nityānanda as an excuse, but it is not a proven fact that Nityānanda Prabhu was a sannyasi. No, it is not proven anywhere that he had taken the sannyas ashram. Of course, he was a renunciate. Everybody looked at him as such, but not that he was officially a sannyasi. So, actually the name Nityānanda, it is a brahmachari name. It is a brahmachari name in the Shankar Sampradaya. So Ananda is a suffix added to the name of a brahmachari. Ananda, Swarup, Prakash, and Chaitanya even. They are different types of brahmachari names. So the name Ananda is also found in the sannyas order of life, but we find no sannyasi title mentioned for Nityānanda Prabhu. There is also no mention anywhere of a sannyas guru for Nityānanda Prabhu, although we know that his Diksha guru was Madhavendra Puri, the guru of Advaita Prabhu and Ishwara Puri. Nityānanda Prabhu is known as an Avaduta. Avaduta does not mean a sannyasi, but it means one who is not very particular about his external practices, and sometimes he does things which should not be done. And when an exalted person is seen engaging in lower practices, he is considered an avadut. It is understood that he is above that, but his practices are of a lower nature. Ava means lower, and duta means that he can neither remove or purify. Sorry, again, ava means lower, and duta means that he can either remove or he can purify. So ava, duta. He can remove the ava, the lower, and purify it. Nityānanda Prabhu broke the single staff, the sannyas staff, the ekadanda, into 3 parts. Who's ekadanda? Mahaprabhu. And that indicates that when taking sannyas, the renounced order of life, we should accept not 1, but 3 dandas, which symbolize the dedication of body, mind, and words in the service of the Lord. And Srila Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was also inspired by this action of Nityānanda Prabhu's to give Tridanda sannyas to his followers, in contrast to Ekadanda, which was formerly current in Bengal. So the system of Tridanda sannyas, as was the custom in southeast India, with the Vaishnavas who follow Ramanujacharya, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta introduced it for the modern age. So that's why in our line of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, all the sannyasis are Tridandi sannyasis, starting from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati himself. He reintroduced that system. Now, Nityānanda Prabhu's approach was somewhat peculiar. His strategy was to uplift the most fallen. Like Napoleon, whose policy was to attack the strongest position of the opposing army. Nityānanda, he also wanted to capture the most sinful. Generally, we think that a saint flies away from this world of Maya, and he goes to a solitary place where he can enter into a cave and he can engage himself in meditation. Indian saints, they generally preach, give up everything, go to a solitary place in the jungle, find a cave, and engage yourself fully in understanding Godhead. But our Guru Maharaj was different. Who? Bhaktisiddhanta says. He was different. And like Mahaprabhu and Nityānanda Prabhu, he wanted to attack Maya. He wanted to attack Maya like a great general. And he declared totalitarian war on illusion and even all other existing conceptions of religion. Why is there this misunderstanding and misconception, he thought? Everything belongs to Krishna. Īśavāsya idam sarvam. It is plain and simple and sweet. How can we think this is for me, that is for him? Why should we let this misconception stand here at all? Attack it and crush the whole thing. That's the preaching of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, yes. So he told us, our Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada told us, Kirtan means to preach against misconception. As soldiers, you must go door to door and preach Krishna consciousness, Krishna's interest, the Krishna conception. If they understand that everything is for Krishna, then they will be saved. This truth is plain and simple. Everything is for Krishna. What's so complicated about that? Is there anything complicated? Everything is for Krishna. Plain and simple truth. So why should they not understand this? This is what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is telling to his disciples. Try to capture them. Try to release them from the world of misconception and the world of misunderstanding, where they are now suffering from reaction. So in this way, we are not afraid of anything. We are not afraid of anything. A Vaishnava who loved solitary life, he once asked our Guru Maharaj, why do you stay at Calcutta? That is the place of Satan, where fighting for selfish interest is so acute. Leave that. Come to the holy God. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur especially chose that place, saying, I prefer to represent Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's creed in an extremely contaminated place. For this reason, he wanted to send men to the West. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Because he preferred to do what? To represent Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's creed in an extremely contaminated place, and you can't find such extremely contaminated places unless you go there, to the West. So, for this reason, he wanted to send men to the West. He said, the East is captured by the glamour of Western civilization. Yes. He said, so, Western civilization must first be crushed. And then its glamour will vanish, and the whole world will come to join the campaign of divine love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This was the same spirit with which Nityānanda Prabhu canvassed the fallen souls of this world, in his attempt to take them to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I want to make a comment here. So, this strategy that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had, and of course our Srila Prabhupada had, and his other servants who are also preaching. The whole point was to defeat Western civilization. Why? Because even India and the whole world, the whole eastern part of the world, especially at that time, this is like 100 years ago practically, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was sending his preachers to the West. And India was so much captured by Western civilization, the glamour of Western civilization. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's strategy was, first, we have to crush it. We have to crush Western civilization. And what will happen then? The glamour of this Western civilization, it will vanish. And the whole world will come to join the campaign of divine love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is what's going on right now. I want you to know that. This is what is going on. As we sit here in Navadvīpa, the whole Western civilization has been set up like a chessboard. It's all set up by Mahaprabhu. Why? Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted to crush it, and he sent his crushers. And they crushed. You see our Srila Prabhupada. He's always crushing. If you read his lectures and his morning walk conversations, he's always crushing. And he himself said that. This is my style. Slashing. So he did that. And the pure devotee, what he does is not going to go in vain. No. All the pure devotees of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, they will crush any opposition. Absolutely, they will do it. So, in this way, the whole world right now is in chaos. War going on, and there's so many very heavy demonic persons who are manipulating and controlling the situation in the world from all different angles, politically, economically, socially, philosophically, in every way. Demons. They're all going to get crushed. And that's what's going on right now. And all the pure devotees, they know that. And that's why they predicted. I'm not even going to start getting into it at all, what they predicted. But just to prove this point, it's just around the corner now. This Western civilization is going to be finished. And Mahaprabhu's movement, it's all being arranged directly by him. That such a climate, such a situation in the world will cause the people of the world who are pious and who are also taking birth by the control of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be a whole new generation. And the mission of Mahaprabhu is going to go everywhere. Never doubt this fact. So this is the crushing period right now. We should always think that the pure devotees are crushing Western civilization. But this is merciful. Just like Nityānanda Prabhu. This was the same spirit with which Nityānanda Prabhu canvassed the fallen souls of this world in his attempt to take them to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes. Wow. We made it to the end of this chapter. I'm amazed. It's quite a long chapter. We actually made it all the way to the end.
Which chapter is it?
What?
Which chapter is it?
It's called Friend of the Fallen, in the Golden Volcano of Divine Love. And the next chapter is called Mad Nimai Pandit. So, I'm so happy that today we got to hear the words of Srila Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Maharaj, who can express these things like no one else practically. You know, when Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj was sitting literally about 100 meters from this very spot, right on his veranda, and you can see in the videos, and you can hear it in the audios, all the lectures that he gave sitting there. He never left that place. Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, he said such a high regard for Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj. He considered even that he was his Siksha Guru, Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj. And he glorified him in Vyasa Puja. But Srila Puri Maharaj, he told about Srila Śrīdhara Maharaj. He says, yes, Pujapad Śrīdhara Maharaj is simply sitting on his veranda, just like in the middle of a big forest, like a big jungle. There is this one lotus flower that is in the middle of the jungle, and the fragrance of this lotus flower is exuding throughout all the jungle and causing all the different jungle creatures to come there. Where is this fragrance coming from? Śrīdhara Maharaj is just like that, he said. The whole world is coming, and he's simply sitting on his veranda right here. And you can hear it in his lectures, in his dissertations there, spontaneous darshans that he gave. And he's expressing for a few minutes a particular point, and then he leans back and he says, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. And then sometimes he would speak, and then he would pause, and he would say, Nitai, Nitai, he was absorbed in Gaur praying, sitting right there. That place is very worshipful. I'm going to bring the devotees there one day and go up there and sit there. And we'll actually play a video of Śrīdhara Maharaj sitting right there and speaking like that. So
I want to go too whenever you do that.
So in this way, on this holy appearance day of Sri Nityānanda Prabhu, we are sitting here in Navadvīpa and having an opportunity to hear just a few of the pastimes of Sri Nityānanda Prabhu. And there are so many, many more to come. And so we will have to continue our dissertations on Sri Nityānanda Prabhu's glories for a couple of days. So today is today is Friday. And on Sunday, what was that on Sunday again? Oh, Narottam Das Thakur. And what else? Oh,